to the September 30th, 2025 school committee meeting. I call this meeting to order. Before we get started, I'm going to do my regular reminder that under the current levy limit, the Grafton Public Schools will be facing a budget shortfall next year. And to keep class sizes, programs, and supports as they are, we are probably going to need a Proposition 2.5 override. And with that, I will open it up to public comment. And not seeing any, I will move to general business and welcome our operations team, Frank Rothwell and Shauna Carlson, to give us an operations update.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing us this opportunity to discuss our department. I'm Frank and this is Shauna. Okay. This first slide, just want to show this first slide. This is the old shop at North Street Elementary School that will come up later in our presentation, where we turn that into a teacher's room, and the teachers love it, which is great. Do you want to be the fast forwarder, or do you want me to? Whoops. Oh, oops. There we go. So, okay, operations department. It covers, we oversee custodial services in all the schools, maintenance in all the schools, nursing in all the schools, transportation, facilities rental, food services, capital projects, and our extended day, our before and after care programs. So while we present, if there's any questions, feel free to interrupt me or us, and we'd be happy to answer your questions, but we'll also leave time at the end, okay? So transportation, I pointed this out last year when I reported out on transportation. I do want to emphasize that a lot of people in our community very much would like transportation, like door-to-door transportation, the bus to pick them up, and we just can't. There's just not enough time in the during the bus runs. It makes it really challenging. So what I do when they make that request is I Google map it. I measure how long of a walk and how far, the distance between the stop that's present and their home, their property. And then I look at things like sidewalks, street lights, curves in the road. There's one street where there's this giant hedge that really leans out that it's really challenging to walk down the street. So taking all those things into account, no one in Grafton that I believe walks more than 0.25 miles. Most children walk well less than 0.2 miles. And there are quite a few stops at houses that might be consolidated with neighbors and whatnot. So our custodial services, those are our numbers in all of our different buildings. And I do want to just point out that each summer our custodians pull everything out of the classrooms. They clean classrooms, they wash the walls, top to bottom, they wax the floors, and then they pull everything back into the classrooms. It's a little bit challenging at the high school because we have extended school year, and those custodians, they've got it down, they work really hard, and they know how to get through the whole building except for where those classes are. But it's something that we take great pride in, that everyone comes back to a spick and span looking school. Maintenance, I believe, Dr. Cummings, were you able to share this document with everyone?
It's in the drive folder.
Super. So that was just sort of our summary of all the different things that we did over the summer. Some schools get a little bit more attention than other schools, but that's from our maintenance department. There's 3 members of the maintenance department, and Sean and I, especially in the summer, do a lot of work with them. I do want to point out that our athletic fields are maintained throughout the summer, as well as 2 additional buildings from the schools is the maintenance shed, which is behind the high school, and the maintenance garage. And as from previous presentations that I've given, everyone knows that those, when we inherited those spaces, they were chock full of things that we've had to go through and organize, and we've done a lot of work with that. There's also the GAIN program. GAIN program, we purchased some chairs, installed a new whiteboard. The maintenance garage, one of the things we really wanted to do, the lighting was really bad in there. We replaced some of the lighting with some very low-cost LED lighting, so that when the guys are working in there, they can see better and it's safer. North Grafton, do you want to talk about the cafeteria line? We did so much work on that.
So at North Grafton was kind of a collaboration with the kitchen staff and also Julie Flynn about trying to get the students in and out quicker. The traffic flow in there was a little congested and getting the littles through. So we ended up purchasing a brand new serving line, and with that came new configuration, new electrical, and we also did new LED lighting in there so they can actually see, which has made a tremendous difference. That project did go out to bid. Very happy to have worked with Boston Showcase in the end. So they do have a new serving line.
And our funding source for that was the food services account, which I don't know how much you guys know about that, but that's very specific what you can use it on. So we continue to go through kitchen by kitchen and discard equipment that we haven't used in 15 or 20 years, doesn't work. And if it still has value, we put it up on GovDeals and sell it. Like, if it has value, we're supposed to sell it. And then when we can, we either upgrade the equipment or buy new equipment when it dies out. When we get to North Street, you'll see we did that with the freezer and refrigerator, the walk-in freezer and walk-in refrigerator. Whoops, South Grafton. Our fingers were crossed all last year. We had a slow leak in our water heater, and to replace that, we had to do quite a bit of work to get it out of the space and put a new one in. We would have had to close school, and that would have been a nightmare. There was no danger to anyone. It was just dripping into a drain, but we were able to replace that. And our playground at South Grafton, all the work we did on that playground, the old part of the playground where the swings were, the retaining wall, the water was not diverted properly, so it eroded a retaining wall, and we replaced that retaining wall, and we diverted the water and put in a new, away from the playground, like leaching field for the water, so that shouldn't be a problem moving forward. North Street, we spent a lot of time at North Street. As you know, we had the catastrophic failure of the pod roof. That project was a lot of work to get that organized and done. It was part of it was an insurance claim, and then we had to put the roof on, the exterior, and pay for some of the interior as well. So I think the teachers are very happy. I think the students are very happy. It looks great. It's very well insulated. All the electrical was updated. All the tiles, the flooring were all. It was gutted right down to the studs, and they even repaired and replaced many of the studs. So that's in more detail noted on that separate sheet I gave everyone, or Dr. Cummins did, excuse me. We also, going back in capital, there was money for the foyer, the entryway. I don't know if anyone recalls what it used to look like, but the doors were really tight and people felt really claustrophobic. They were dated, they didn't close properly. We replaced all those, we replaced the flooring in there. Dick Shauna painted the vestibule. We put new lighting there. There were holes in the overhang in front. We replaced that and put in some LED lighting. Like I said, we had converted that old shop into a teacher's room, and there's a custodian storage space in the back of that. I already talked about the renovation. And then we tore out the old walk-in refrigerator and freezer in the kitchen and replaced that with new, because that was very leaking and not, we were very worried that we were going to lose that and then lose all the food in there. Things that are coming up, there's a new PA system that's coming out of Capitol. It's almost done, but there's some supply issues with the contractor, but that's almost done because there's some areas in that building that the PA doesn't work and they don't hear the announcements, which we always want all the classrooms to hear the announcements. And then the 2 HVAC units that we got through last year kept giving us problems in the library, and those need to be replaced. So we have bids out for those to get replaced as soon as possible. Millbury Street, thankfully they repaved Millbury Street, and when they did that, we asked if they would give us new aprons because we had a lot of potholes, and the the town worked with us to get new aprons put in. When I say aprons, like in the entranceway. As a result of the new sidewalks, we put in a new crosswalk. There's a lot more, I did traffic duty the first few days there, plus, parent drop-off duty. And there's a lot more walkers from what I understand from previous years, which is great. The HVAC unit in the computer lab got replaced there as well. That computer lab, similar to the one to the library, it just died, and we had to repair the coil and put it back together. Grafton Middle School, the hybrid fire alarm panel and the duct smoke. So the duct smokes were part of the train air conditioning and heating project. And the fire department in town said that, rightly so, that they wanted the duct smokes identified. So there's probably I think there's 26 or 27 duct smokes in those rooftop units spread out. And they wanted them identified. So what that means is when there's a trouble with one of them, it'll say specifically it's in rooftop RTU, rooftop unit number 6, and it's the second duct smoke. So that we can just go right there. We're not hunting and pecking on the roof in all those different units. And we installed a hybrid panel because the other devices throughout the building are not identifiable specifically, but they still function fine. So if a smoke alarm goes off, it'll say it's in this particular area, and there's a map for the fire department so they know. And then they just have to find which smoke detector it is. Okay? It's a little confusing for us and a lot of folks. They got a new PA system. They're still working out the kinks, but that's functioning quite well. And we got the science lab. Do you guys remember the science lab that was kind of abandoned? We got those sinks fixed and the electrical fixed in there, and it's now functioning. So, the infamous glycol leak. Do you want to talk about that glycol leak?
So at the end of last school year, our entranceway by the nurse's office art room sprung a leak. One of the things that we found while digging through old plans is that the valves that were supposed to be there were not present. So we couldn't just isolate that leak easily enough. So we made it through, and we were able to get the work completed right before school started. Our maintenance team did an amazing job of the cleanup, replacing carpet, repatching the ceiling, painting. You would have no idea that we had any sort of leak there. But because of that, a substantial amount of money was needed to repair that properly, more than what we originally kind of anticipated, for sure.
We also, when the spring came and we went to turn the sprinkler system on throughout the athletic fields that are not turf, the ones that are grass, obviously, that water comes from Lake Ripple in a pump house that very few people know exists. It's behind the backstop of the baseball field. It's on Lake Ripple. And then under that pump house, 60 feet, 70 feet, some ridiculous number, is a pump that we had to pull out and replace. So Shauna did a great job tracking down different companies to come in. Most people didn't want to touch it because they have vehicles that they need to pull those things up. But we found a company that worked quite well with us and with one of our maintenance men, and they were able to replace that. So the sprinklers are now functioning, and we just put topsoil today on the softball field here. And by the way, that topsoil we purchased at a great discount from the company that we use for our food waste. So it's basically compost.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
our own food waste is what's going to fertilize this softball field and the baseball field once play stops. New solar scoreboard on the upper turf field. I don't know if you had the pleasure of seeing that. That's fully installed now. We're just trying to get rid of the dirt that they dug the hole with. And then a wireless camera system. And I told you this was going to be the most exciting system ever. Wireless camera system in the student parking lot. So there were cameras put in originally in the student parking lot, underground cable, and somewhere the underground cable was damaged. it could be like a frost heave, like twisted the pipe or something. So they short of bringing in an excavator and digging up a giant hole in the parking lot, we came up with the company that we use in the tech department to basically come up with a wireless system. So the cameras are working and it shoots a laser beam, a video back to the high school. There's a receiver on the high school now, and it's live cameras. I mean, students, they're new drivers, they're young drivers, and sometimes there's problems in the parking lot. And for several years, we didn't have cameras there. So now the cameras are functioning in the student parking lot. So we're pretty excited about that. Jay never thought we would accomplish that, but we did, of course. So pretty excited. Dr. Cummings, excuse me. And then we also oversee capital projects. That's it for the buildings. Does anyone have any questions about the building?
I have a question. You said that the glycol leak, it would cost much more than you had anticipated. What does that cost? What does that mean? What was the cost?
We don't have it in
Oh,
our
okay.
fingertips, but
All right.
we can share it.
No, I just was curious. All right.
Yeah, it basically, when doing it, they tested the glycol that
Yeah.
was still left in the system, and the percentage, think like antifreeze in your car, the percentages were way low. So we had to hire a company to pump actual glycol back into the system, and it was way more than
Yeah.
we anticipated.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Capital projects, that water heater I had mentioned, and then the fire panel. I already talked about those. But some of those projects are done. The lights are going out to bid soon for the stadium. I think I talked about it last year at school committee, how the wires are all damaged and they're just not, it's a lot of money to try to repair them. It's just not feasible. And we'll replace them with LED. And yeah, I think we mentioned most of that. Oh, at North Street, the bathroom stalls are being replaced as well. But,
great.
yeah, they're the original, or what, I don't know if they're original, but they get corroded pretty quickly. So, before we go on to roofs, does anyone want to talk about capital projects? Any questions about that? It's all exciting.
You do have?
Well, I don't have a question. I'll just pause here. I wanted to thank you both for all, this is a lot of work in your team and your enthusiasm.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
like getting things done
great.
and making them look nice. We want them to function like they're supposed to function. We want them to look nice. So,
Same way.
speaking of the roofs, so the town had this report done from Garland, the Garland Company. They did this big report on all of our roofs, full of photographs, and we have active leaks in all 6 of our school buildings. And two of the buildings are the leaks are pretty bad. So we want to get the ball rolling to address that. So we just asked for quite a bit of money for fall town meeting for design services. And I just wanted to just hit on that really quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's on the agenda for later. But design services are for the middle school. This is for Grafton Middle School, which I would say is the worst roof. It's actually a series of 4 different roof materials, which is very obtuse. Like usually you just have one roof material. One of the 4, the worst one, is foam. No one that we've talked to really knows of any foam roofs on a commercial building in New England. That's kind of
Like
a Florida
foam's
thing.
a poor choice for a roof.
Yeah.
Correct. And the
Absorb
only thing
water well.
that's making that roof like somewhat watertight is underneath the foam is old like tar, essentially, the original roof. So I think maybe in 2005 or something, someone thought it would be a cost-saving measure to just, instead of replacing the roof that was already in need of
Bad.
repair, they would just spray foam over it. So now one of the things is to try to judge what would a contractor charge us to remove the foam, because you also have like ripple there. You don't want it all blowing into the. So that's a concern. But so that roof, we've asked for money for design services, which include plans as well as a company that would be doing like weekly check-ins with the work that's being done to make sure that they're doing it correctly. When we did the North Grafton metal roof, the company that I got the sort of placeholder, like, what do you think this would cost for design services? That's the company we used, and they were excellent. Like, they were really good. Like, we're pretty particular about things, and we know quite a bit about different construction things, but they were even over the top from us. So
Can I?
that roof report, yep,
Frank, sorry.
yes.
Well, I know we're gonna get into it, so I don't know when to ask this question, but I will. I don't know anything about roofs, so I'll just say that, but, 425,000, it's just for the middle school roof, right? So
For the plans and design services. So
Plans
this is
and
a company
design.
that's gonna be with us through the whole project and make sure everything is done correctly from start to finish.
That seems like a lot of money. I know I'm not gonna be the only person who said that, so can you go into it a little bit more about what that is, or
So-
are we talking about that later, and that's fine?
So, the town very appropriately asked us the same
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
And Dr. Cummings and I, like, tried to look into it. Dr. Cummings actually saved the day on this one.
Of course he
Um,
did.
Which is, I hate to admit, in a public thing like this, sorry. But,
You're a
essentially,
team, it's not a
what
competition.
we found is DCAM, which is who you go through to post these jobs to get them bid on.
Yep.
They have they give a percentage, and if I recall, our project would fall between 7% and 7.5%, if I recall. And, of the total cost.
Is what you
To
have to
replace the
set
roof.
aside for design.
Oh.
So that number
This is like a-
That-
is
that we
a
didn't just make it up.
percentage
No, I know you
of
didn't make it
the
up.
And I just
anticipated
wanna be- That's
cost.
correct. And then that matched up with, Frank went to this company. It's gonna be a bidding process where
Of
we're
course,
gonna
yeah.
go with whoever's the bid. But they've done work in Westboro,
Yep.
some work in Millbury. And their number was, we were both like, gosh, I would have guessed, I don't know, 50,000, but I'm making that up.
Right.
But then I made a few calls to area districts. Millbury's actually looking for a roof that wouldn't qualify for any kind of MSBA reimbursement, 2 roofs at 19 million. And he's like, yep, those DCAM, that's the state organization that you use. And I did have one more point. I then, just to double check, this was before I went to FinCom, we looked at Westboro. They're probably at where we hopefully will be in a couple of years, where they had maybe 4 different roof projects, not entire roofs, all of them, on their warrant in 2024, their town warrant. They had a project, this is about 78,000 square feet. They had one for 80,000 square feet. And I think their number was 565 for design. So I then worried that it wasn't enough. But we
Right.
checked with DCAM and we're good.
Okay. Okay.
So it could come back. Let's just play
Yeah.
fairy tale for a little bit. We'll go out to bid and they all come in at 300,000. Lovely. But we don't think it's going to exceed whatever the number was.
425.
Well, I'm gonna guess you're gonna be asked that a lot, so that's good for us to know. And now I kind of understand why they used foam.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. And just to clarify what Frank said, if it needs clarification, we have the original roof. It's never been replaced, 62
just-
years old.
Wow.
But over the
Yeah.
years, and you guys all understand it, there's not millions sitting around, so you do something as a stopgap for 10 years. So we now have 4 systems covering one roof on top of the original. That they weren't ever designed to last, another 50 plus years. They were just a stopgap, but
In,
Yeah.
we've just run out of options.
in New England, I do want to also point out, the PVC roofs that many of our buildings have, are only meant to last like 15 to 20 years. And they're all well over that lifespan. So, I mean, on the one hand, I wish people before us had gone and started projects like this sooner, because it's like, if you're teaching, there's nothing worse than, there being a leak in your classroom, just habitual. But on the other hand, like, there have been attempts to patch.
Yep.
So when they redid the high school, though, the middle school back in 1995, did they touch the roof then at that point?
So finding records is really a challenge, but we try. We believe they did the gymnasium roof last, and I think that was when they
Yeah, the one
it sounds around 1995.
Yeah,
when they did it.
And that one out of all the sections is, I mean, they're all terrible, but that's the best of the terrible sections.
Right, right. And, you know, the other piece of this is like when they rip the roof off, like how is the decking underneath? Like we've seen it because the train project, so we saw, like, we think it's gonna be solid from what you can see from the inside, but we don't know what the outside, so but it needs to be addressed. And North Street's not that far behind.
No.
The rest of North Street, I mean, obviously what we just did.
Right.
So, we would be hoping that if we can get this through, that to start working on North Street pretty quickly as well.
So when we're looking at designing this new roof, what's the lifespan for the roof we're hoping to put on?
So, I mean, I will just say what they put, what was recommended in here is what they put on the North Street pods. And it's just a 2-layer, it's got asphalt as well as like a PVC element to it.
Okay,
I don't know if it's sandwiched in there, but it just, when you walk on it, you can just tell the difference. You're not walking on a membrane that's a little bit thicker than a balloon, right? This is like beefy, and
It
you can walk
feels-
on it, and it's,
it
yeah.
feels,
That one ply
Okay.
is what's at Millbury Street,
okay,
in the
Okay.
same high school.
Right. High school, Millbury, 3 of the roofs is some variation of that at the middle school. So it's just beefier.
okay.
Like I just think they're gonna last like 30
I
to
thought the number
50.
was 30.
That's,
in the
that's what I
report, but I
like to
can
hear.
double-check on
That
that.
makes me
Yeah.
feel better. I did not see it in the scanning I did of that 50 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other 4 schools, like we said, we put in capital 200,000 for this year, and we were planning on asking for that for next year. And we've already got our calls in to get them out once the capital budget passed, and start just repairing the other 4 roofs.
Yeah.
So, and those are all over the place as well, including metal. Millbury Street, if you really look close at roofs, the portico in the front of the Millbury leaks a lot, and that is on capital for this year. We have to put that out to bid and get that repaired, replaced. The metal portico, not the PVC membrane, not what's over the gym.
Once these roofs are done, are we considering putting solar panels on these roofs?
No one's had a conversation with you about that.
So we have it, we're investigating, we currently have 124 panels?
144.
There are 44 panels on the middle school. Obviously, if we get the new roof, they'll have to come off. It's an older system. It's, 13 years old, which in the world of solar is old, so we're gonna have to, today we were talking about, do we reconnect with a company and utilize them? Do we just go with a new company? That's yet to be figured out.
Right. So they lay them on the roofs,
Yeah.
and then they put, I don't want to bore you to tears. They put like weights, and in this case, they're cinder blocks. Usually it's cinder blocks, and that system is so old that those cinder blocks have deteriorated. So to take them off, like you don't want a gust of wind to like start blowing solar panels off. It's fine, but we were just up there with
Feeling confident.
a solar person today. But when they took them off, they would also replace all those cinder blocks. Any other questions?
Well,
And then I just put the summaries of what it would cost to replace the roofs on that last slide from that report. And those are in May 25 guesstimations.
right.
That every year you wait, of course, it probably would go up.
So that North Street number that says spring 27, it hasn't been extrapolated out to what we think the costs will be in spring 27.
I think there's so many moving parts. That's what the May 25 report, like I
Gotcha.
would not
We don't
feel
know.
confident at any, I mean, the MSBA, I think it's every other year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what-
so even that number that, like, I'm hopeful that we would start asking in spring 27, but we may
Right.
not ask until spring of 28. Because then MSBA might be able to help us.
Right,
Right.
kick in again. Yep, okay. Anyone
Anything
have
else?
anything else?
Anyone have any questions about the stuff that we accomplished this summer? No? Okay.
Thank you both so much.
Yeah.
Unbelievable work.
You guys
It's
have done-
incredible what you guys do with what you have.
Did you say something nice, Jay?
I did. Yes, both Sean and Frank, their entire team. It's a small team, but they're just doing unbelievable work, super kid and staff focused. And they're just problem solving all day, every day. It's awesome. We're lucky to have both of them.
Thanks, Jay. Glad everyone heard that.
Force that.
Actually
Can I say
didn't hear,
something?
could you, there's the
I
livery.
can't.
I like the, I think it's their second slide where it's like it shows all the ridiculously disparate things that you're in charge of, and it's just like,
Wow.
way to go. That's all.
Thanks.
Yeah, like it's a lot.
Thanks.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's
So.
nice because we can play off each other as well. Sean has been, she is a pleasure to work with. And we, like after doing it for a couple of years, we sort of divide and conquer. Like
Awesome.
transportation, like, upset parents, that's my specialty. I was in high school for a lot of years. Like I try to, I'm always respectful and I understand that they just care about their children. So I do my best to be transparent and honest with them. And Shauna worked as a custodian in our district, and she understands what it takes to clean a building, and she knows how to do it right. And she's all over those guys. And I don't know, we're a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I
Awesome.
want to, if you don't mind, just also recognize and thank Kathleen Lungarini, our Director of Finance. We kind of fight with her all the time because we're, like a glycol leak that you didn't see coming. You can't just, we'll wait till next year as it rains glycol on you kids. But she fights us tooth and nail, but in a good way. And in the end, I think we've done really, led by you two, a fantastic job making it all work. So thank you.
One thing, if I could, about use of facilities, I will say that the money that we bring in for our rentals, we're very mindful to put that money back into those spaces to keep them going. So last year, there was a big, it was a challenge to find someone that could come and certify all of our stage equipment. There's heavy equipment up there. And we used money from that fund to bring a company in to go through everything, all the pulleys, and certify everything in there so that it's safe.
Yeah, on last year's slides, it had said that it was so much work to deal with the rentals. Is you finding that is still the case to deal with all the
Yeah,
rental? It's a lot of work, right? Is it?
Shauna does.
Shauna, tell me. It's okay.
Shauna does the bulk of it.
I have to definitely spend at least an hour a day on just use facilities emails. I am the contact person, so there is obviously a lot of functions that happen at night and on the weekends. So I am the go-to person. Our team of custodians who work those events, if there's a problem, they're gonna call me. So it's definitely a lot of work. But I do think it has never run smoother. As someone who used to be a custodian, you never knew what was going on in your building at night, ever. We were just never told those things. So to know what our custodians need to know, who needs to be aware of it, whether it's principals, we coordinate a lot with Ashley Paulson, the athletic director, to make sure that if, she needs the gym for her sports come first, not someone who just wants to rent our gym for some fun one night. So there's a lot of that, a lot of collaborating, but we get it done.
Sorry, one more question, speaking of the gym. On the capital plan, are we going to be replacing the lights in the gymnasium at the high school? I've heard complaints of that lighting.
What lights?
Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty good.
We just received an email today. We're working with a company who is very eager to give us proposals to replace the lights with LED. And they should be LED, don't get me wrong, but that's gonna be a lot more money. The present system is, from what I understand, from the day the building opened, no one's really ever been able to fully control those lights. So it's, because the switches are remote and they're not, like, there's no combination of switches that you can press to get all the lights on
Yeah.
when you want them all on. So we're working with a local electrician that we've used for a lot of projects, who's working with a company out of Worcester to see if it's all radio transmitted controls. Like, it sounds so, because like, think Gen 1 iPhone, right? You would laugh if you had a Gen 1 iPhone. This is Gen 1, like, energy saving controls that we don't have access to. Like, it's so hard. And I've said, what would it cost us to just bypass all those energy saving controls? And we'll promise that we'll shut them off at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the morning, we'll just turn them on so that they all light up, because it's used like
Right.
all hours of the day.
Right.
And they're looking into that now to try to, because we want to get it something improved before basketball season. We rented a lift,
Yeah.
and we had our best guy on there with an electrician trying to figure out how to like just get them all lit up, and it's.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
We bought some bulbs to see if it would, like, if they were burnt out bulbs. We changed a couple of ballasts. It's not the lights, it's the controls
The control.
running the lights.
Yeah.
But Jake told us we would never fix the cameras in the student parking
Well,
lot.
we can't listen to him.
So we're hopeful that when he doubts us is when we do our best
That's
work.
when people do their best.
Yeah.
I think he knows that. That's why he's a
That's
good
his
leader.
motivational
Yeah.
No,
style.
don't give him credit for motivating us. We're self-motivated. Don't give him credit. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
very much.
Always.
Very informative. It's like,
All right, you're up. Yeah,
About the article.
yeah.
Oh, perfect. So this is the article that with Frank, William Blake, and with Evan, we had put together, as I think I've explained, and I'll be happy to explain it if you're confused. We did it kind of more quickly than we had anticipated to try to get it on to the fall town meeting, the article. So William put forward the actual wording. Thank you, William. And I presented it last week to the finance committee. They supported it unanimously. I think it would be wise for the school committee to consider it and
Vote on it.
really to support it.
Yep,
great.
I'll take a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve Article 11 to see if the town will vote to transfer and appropriate a sum of money from free cash in the amount of $425,000 for the purpose of funding designer services for the replacement of the roof of Grafton Middle School.
Second that.
Any discussion?
Jay, is there anybody going to do like a presentation or anything at town meeting?
I would assume so. We hadn't discussed it, but yeah, something
Brief.
along the lines of what I did with finance committee. It was
Yeah.
quick,
Yep.
but to the point, but it spoke
Yeah.
to exactly what you asked about the cost.
Yeah, because I'm sure that, I mean,
That'll be a question.
it'll be a question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, we can
Great.
definitely do that.
so you'll want to let the town moderator know.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk to Evan.
Any other questions, comments? All right, take a vote. All in favor? Unanimous. All right. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
All right, next thing is budget.
Yes, so Kathleen's going to be attending our next meeting on
Yeah.
October 7th to talk about most of the things that we had designated for the budget. She put together, and I presented to you in your book, a proposed timeline for the FY27 budget. On our end, Kathleen and I have already met with principals, and we're lining up those meetings between the principals and all the directors to go through the building budgets, which includes staffing. That's a big step for us to get the ball rolling. And then she outlined the various dates that things will be presented to the school committee with the town meeting in May. So I'm happy to take any feedback and make any changes if you'd like tonight or going forward. It's simply a draft to get us started.
Anyone have anything?
Dr. Cummings,
Mhm.
so this year when we're developing the budget, I know that the town is kind of moving towards, I guess, it used to be called like zero-based budgeting, or we're moving
They're
towards
doing,
that.
they're not doing zero, and I wasn't there for the presentation, but they're calling it performance-based. budgeting. My understanding from Kathleen is essentially taking a look at every line.
Right,
And then some kind of justification as opposed to just start with zero and build from there.
so we're, okay,
Yeah, we are doing that. Yeah,
Okay.
we've already talked to the principals, like every single line, even if it's kind of a low number, we've had that same basic number for ages, we're gonna look at.
Any other questions? Jay, you have, Kathleen and you, or you, have sort of a preliminary recommendation early in December?
Yep.
Is that realistic, you think?
I think
I
so.
mean, we'll have a
If,
sense.
Some of it will depend on, all of this depends, not all of it, some of it depends on when the town is gonna have their forecasting numbers.
Right.
Which they've been working on, we're expecting it, I think it was late October, November. If that happens, I think we'll be in great shape. As you recall, last year it was delayed a couple
Yep.
months and it was hard.
Mhm.
It just it made it more speculative than we'd like.
That's why, kind of why I was asking. I was like,
But
we're
we
going
can
to
check
really
it.
have the
It
info.
sounds like they're moving right along.
Great. Okay. Nothing else? Okay. Great. Next item on the agenda, the joint meeting with the select board. As many people may or may not know, Andy Jefferson, the chair of the select board, reached out to us to see about meeting together to start talking about budget early and often, which is great and very important. So I'm sure notification of that meeting will go out soon. It'll be posted, but Christy, you wanted it on the agenda, so I didn't know if there was anything you
No,
wanted
it
to
was-
say about
It
it,
was
or
more that it's on the agenda so that we can let people know that this is the thing that's coming up.
it is coming up at the end of October.
Leave it there?
Yeah. October
We do have a date, October 28th.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great.
Well, yeah, yep.
Awesome.
Do we
So-
know what the select board, do they want anything from us or from Dr. Cummings in preparation of this meeting?
I think it's early. Yeah, it's a month out, so we're just starting to talk about what everybody's going to bring to that meeting, so. Great.
Past experience tells me that they are going to want Jay to take the lead.
Yeah,
So
they sure are.
just
So we'll be prepared.
thanks for setting that up.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm just glad everybody's being early and proactive about it. So, all right. Superintendent goals.
Yes, so I think at the last meeting, if not the meeting before, last meeting, I presented 3 goals that I've decided to take off of my official goals, the attendance. The goal focused on attendance, it focused on 1 student learning goal and 1 professional practice goal. Obviously, those are in conjunction with the 21 standards that I get evaluated on each spring. And I made some slight modifications in goal 2, the professional practice goal. I forget exactly what wording I shifted, but shifted things around, trying to respond to the feedback from the last time I presented the draft.
Madam Chair, yeah, I'd like to, we'll start with goal 1. Dr. Cummings, at the last meeting, the school committee sort of had said in unison almost that 1,000 classroom visits is a very lofty goal.
Very lofty.
And there's actually no action plan attached to this.
The action is getting into the 1,000 classroom.
But how do you plan on doing that? Are you saying like
Sure,
you're setting,
It's like climbing Mount Everest. You don't aim to get to base camp 2. You go to the top.
have you thought of changing that up at all to like something not so prescriptive as classroom visits as per se, like, you know, every Friday I'll be at a different school in the morning greeting students and I'll attend at least one all-school meeting in every building. Something a little less prescriptive than I'll visit 1,000 classrooms, because something such as that, like saying I may visit 500 classrooms, but I'll be at an assembly and to that effect.
See, that seems more prescriptive.
I don't feel like it does.
It's like the flip.
No, it feels
But
like
I
it's,
still, as you mentioned, I greeted kids. I got to
You
ride the
did?
bus and greet kids for 2 days at Millbury Street. I didn't count it. I'm at 56 right now. I'm kind of killing it with the new hip. 56 is pretty good.
That is really
I probably
good.
won't
that's
get
your
to
age?
1,000.
What are we saying?
No, it's
The 56
classes.
visits, okay.
Yeah, some of the same ones. more than once, which I can take.
Okay, and how many days are we
I
into school, Dr.
remember
Cummings? How many
the
days
hip.
are we?
Oh my
Oh, I can't forget your hip.
Big hip, big
Yeah,
hip.
so there were 180 days in the school year. We're how many days into the school year? Nobody knows, okay?
No, ask Siri, I guess.
Let's say 30, that's 150 school days left to get 1,000 visits, right?
Mhm.
We're going to say 950 visits, right? Over 150 days?
900, yeah.
I think this.
You're going to
this
go
is
to 6 classrooms a day? 6 classrooms a day, on average.
a-
I mean, that seems
Edmund Hillary.
very lofty,
It's
Dr.
lofty,
Cummings.
but I-
You know,
I am
because in the
all for
past, you
lofty.
used to be crossing guard, and that's the students, they saw you. I don't know if they enjoyed it, but they saw you every morning there. And so something to that degree of where, you know, I'll be in a building greeting students. What are you achieving by these 1,000 classroom visits, I guess?
This is 100% based on not only good practice, but feedback from the evaluation last spring.
Right, the feedback was
With
to be
connection
more
with
visible
teachers and, yes.
in the buildings,
Yep.
not
I
a
think the
prescriptive of
heart the
1,000
district is
visits.
The classroom. So I think it's super lofty. But even if I hit 500, and even if I'm taken to task for only 500, that's still pretty awesome. I'll be as happy as a clam in the spring.
Okay.
I like that you used the word audacious.
It is ambitious,
Yeah,
but I like
but why
that.
not?
Appreciate it, and it's a great word.
Aim big.
I don't think you're going to be taken to task if you only do 500,
Well-
by the way,
That's the worst case scenario. I kind of like, I think about it every day now.
which is great.
It's great.
Checking though. Like we have to take your word for it.
You're gonna have to take my word.
Can you get a punch card of some kind or something?
I'm at
that can be-
900,
Every
every
teacher has an
Every
identifiable
10th visit,
punch
you get
card
a
for
free
class.
lunch.
and I'm very conscious in my mind of what a real, like. I used to be a principal, and it was great, but I loved every bit of it. But you could hit every class and just walk through the back of the class, like.
Right.
It's gonna fall on me, and whether it's 1,000 or not, in the spring is the perception from staff, parents, you guys, that I'm more visible around everything that you laid out last spring, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's going to be a huge challenge. Not only is the number high, but doing the HR stuff it's every day. That's been
Yeah.
the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think the number's too high. Much too high.
So you're a base camp 2 thinker. That's not me.
Okay.
Go for the top.
I would like it if at like all school meetings, you were attended at least one in each school to introduce yourself, because we find that students, even when they see you, don't know who you are.
Before the 1,000 classrooms. Huh. True.
Are you still on pain medication, Dr. Cummings?
I mean, I'm going to be, obviously, if I'm in the school, I go to the CAF, I'm going to be seen. I don't just.
But they
go
don't know
to
who you
classes
are,
that
but they don't know
run
who you
out.
are if
They'll
you're not
figure it out.
introducing it.
But he will.
But if you go to the
My
all
goal
school
is-
meetings and say like, hello, my name is James Edward Cummings, and I'm your superintendent.
Oh, God, I hope you don't
Kids
say it
feel
like
good about
that.
it or something?
Well, they would know who you were.
All right, so what?
It's like, oh, okay. So
Oh.
what? So what? So
Yeah.
you don't want to know who the kids are?
No, they'd know.
Yeah.
it's like
Okay,
my
Dr.
name.
Cummings.
So-
All right, Dr. Cummings, this is
Here's,
yours.
so, I mean, I think on some level, we have to let the superintendent set his own goals and measure him against them, however we read them. I think we're getting to some, I think it's too much specificity. I think we'll understand the spirit of whether he's met the goal, the spirit of the goal, and, why am I forgetting the word? For measuring you accordingly. Evaluating, thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
And then, Dr. Cummings, in regards to your second goal, I find it very vague. Regularly update multiple social media channels. Has any work been done on creating these?
Guess who created
Yes.
an Instagram account today? Don't know how to use it, but I have a meeting tomorrow with 2 students who are going to teach me at 8:30. So I'm kind of killing it.
Is there any followers?
No.
0.
excuse
I don't
me,
know how to do
I
that.
followed one of yours. I followed your new Instagram account already.
Like today?
Not the one that was set up last week.
You had set one up last year as well, so if you recall that.
So
one.
that's
Yeah,
when I
that
have
one.
kids helping me
Yeah.
and they do it. Today I did it like a big boy.
Oh, you did it
On the-
yourself.
Last year, you
Nice.
set one up.
So,
About 7, and you had 7 followers.
I mean,
if recall.
to be fair, I think we should benchmark this year, let this year be the benchmarking year, set up the accounts, let's see activity on them, and we'll benchmark for the following year how they grow.
Right, I feel like this was a change from last,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, or whatever it
Yep.
was, that we said you couldn't, like, so I think
Right.
this is a good compromise.
Yeah, I'm down.
I mean, I
Anyone
guess
have
we could
anything
change
else?
regular posts to 3 to 5 a week, I mean.
Yeah, let's start somewhere and then we can increase
And we can
frequency or,
adjust.
yeah, even halfway through the year, we can see what we're doing, what's working and adjust.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Do you think Elsa J is gonna make a reappearance on Instagram?
I'm not sure even how it works, so I don't know.
I think I can make that happen.
They can comment? Okay, I'll figure it out.
Excellent. All right, we had quarterly report format on the agenda. We're gonna push that, the quarterly reports, when Kathleen will be here next
Correct,
week, so we're not doing that one. I think we should do your contract, Jay, and then go back to the grants, audits, and warrants.
I think we're waiting on that one, correct? Yeah, we're gonna wait on that.
On that one as well?
The request was that she be here
To-
the discussion
both
is
of them?
around the new policies that connect to grants, warrants, audits. and
Gotcha.
Practice.
Thank you.
Okay, so both of those wait for Kathleen. Then let's go right to the superintendent's contract, which we've all reviewed. We all discussed, so we just need to take a vote. I will take a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that the school committee approve the employment agreement between Grafton School District and Dr. James Cummings for 2025 to 2028.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I will take a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Perfect. All right, and I don't think we have a superintendent report.
No,
We've
I-
done plenty.
We don't,
With you.
I do, if you don't mind, I
Yeah.
just want to thank a number of people. We had a relatively minor bus accident, thankfully, off of Pleasant Street in 122 with bus 10, Millbury Street School. The kids were awesome. Liz Parmenter was on the bus as a bus monitor, which is invaluable. The driver was great. The police were great. EMTs were great. Steve Wiltshire, the principal. Paul Schwab, I went to the site. Paul Schwab went to the site, had all the materials we needed for kind of the okay with the EMTs. It was like literally textbook. In terms of how it was processed. Steve did all the communication to parents. It was, no parents showed up in a panic because it was so well communicated. It really could not have been done better. So just a big thank you to everybody involved.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so student representative reports. And first, we're going to welcome our newest student representative, Anushka Singh, a junior. Welcome, Anushka. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're thrilled. So how'd the year start, guys? What's new?
We don't have a lot of updates because it's not that far into the school
Yep.
year yet, but so some of the big ones are the homecoming dance kind of got finalized. So it will be October 18th in the gymnasium. And then our homecoming themes got announced for Spirit Week. So Monday is Indigenous Peoples Day, but Tuesday is Bedtime versus Business. And then Western Wednesday. And then Fashion Disaster Day on Thursday. And then Class Color Day, followed by the Pep Rally on Friday.
And we also have PSAT prep sessions that are going to be during extended block this week. Juniors will be on Wednesday and sophomores are on Friday.
And then the final update is that yearbooks are on sale for $70 final today. Tomorrow they will be up to $80, so check your email for more details on how to order. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Okay. Any like personal observations? Just how the year started? Anything exciting or just easy?
I mean, I've noticed a lot of change this year with Miss Kalo taking over as principal, but honestly, I think it's been really positive change. Like, I think overall, I think the school is headed in, I think, a better direction. Yeah.
It's been a good adjustment. People are really like learning the new principal, Mr. I don't want to say his last name, but Mr. D. Yeah.
Benedetto,
Yeah, he's been great, and I think people really are enjoying the new admin.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you both. You can hang or you can go if you have
Delaney,
homework.
are you doing okay? This is a tough time.
We're getting through it. I'm getting
We
it all
know.
done before homecoming week, all my college apps, and then I'll be
Amazing.
It is
Yeah.
just a hard time.
getting it
We
done
got you,
soon.
we got you.
Good night.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Maybe it's just for me.
No, we talked about it before we started, when she got here. All right, so future agenda planning,
Quick turnaround.
yeah.
Yeah, next week,
Thank
right?
you.
Now, we are back next week. One thing we added to next week's is we've got to choose our MASC delegate, so we'll do that next week. And we moved, obviously, the quarterly reports and other financial discussions to next week, so. And we got a week off, and then we're back.
Can we get at the next meeting, what was presented, a copy of the DESI financial statements, the year-end ones?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know if we want to put on here now or wait, but like the first meeting in January, we should have the quarter two reports.
Should we give an,
Is that enough
I-
time? That seems
yeah,
super
I
quick
feel
for
like
the
I'd like,
holiday.
yeah. I feel like maybe we put that on the 20th or the February.
But I think in January, you got to have it in January. The quarter closes December, the end of December.
I know, but you gotta give,
Right, but by
January
January, January 20th is plenty of time.
I think we get back to
Let's do it.
school like January 4th.
Dr. Cummings, what do you think?
The
fifth,
20th.
yeah.
20th.
That'll be great. We'll put it on there and we can move it around.
And then in April 7th, or the first, in April, we need the third, we have it on the 28th
yep,
quarterly.
we sure do. Okay, anything else? All right, we have a set of minutes to approve.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for September 9th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Warrants,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I move that the committee approve warrants 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Is there a reason they're not in the book? Dr. Cummings?
The warrants?
Yeah, typically you have them in the book.
They're in the,
No, what I
Correct
was
them.
doing for a while, I'm not sure why, and I'm sure we'll talk about whether or not, or how the committee wants to handle warrants at the October 7th meeting, but I was taking just the front page and putting them in the book. The whole thing would be,
No,
150
Enormous.
pages.
but they're,
I can't say I did it on purpose, but I'm
It's
not
fine,
sure
I
if
just
you're
wasn't
missing
sure.
anything.
they're all in the folder.
They're all
Correct.
in
The
the
folders are all in the
Yeah.
folder. So if we do keep the warrants, I will get back to doing that, if it's helpful.
Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, I'll take a vote. All in favor? Motion carries. We have another policy palooza today. I turn it over to you guys.
So this evening for policy, I'd like to do a consent on the second reading. Unless there's an issue, I'm going to run through all the second reading policies that was in the summary. You can stop me if we have an issue, but I'd like a motion to approve on a second reading policies ADF, BDD, CA, CBI, CCB, CH, CM, DA, DB, DBC, DBD, DBG, DBJ, DI, DKC, DM, EBAB, EC, ECAC, EEA, EEAA, EFBA, FF, FFA, GBEBC, IC-ICA, IHBG, IHBH, IJ, IJ-R, IJL, IJNDB, IKFE, IMB, JF, JICA, JICJA, JJ, JJIB, KBE, KBG, KHB, KI.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or anything anyone wants to pull out from the group? All right.
I do not.
Seeing none, I will take a vote on those second readings. All in favor? Great.
So where we only have 3 first readings, I think we should do each one individually.
Yes.
Yes.
Christy, can you
Absolutely.
pause for a second? Could I
Yeah.
just make a comment that I'm not trying to vote to change anything at all. Obviously, I just voted to approve it, but I just wanted to say out loud that we have a policy for student dress code for the district, and I've heard some inklings that it's not the same policy that's being sort of distributed at different schools.
Correct.
So I'm just saying that.
Right, now,
Yep.
once these policies are approved and fully in the book, then we'll have to be sure that they're distributed appropriately to all the schools to have matching, because our policies supersede any school buildings policies.
Correct. So, thank you. That is all.
All right, so, next,
Yeah, I've also heard those concerns.
Yep. I think we all have.
right.
Okay.
Actually, to speak more on dress code, if you'd like, we're following the Mass Association of School Committees
Right.
policy on this, which follows Mass General Law on it, so,
And it's
Yeah.
something we had discussed like 2 years ago pretty extensively as well.
We sure
So,
did.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
so, all right, so the next policy, so we're gonna do a first read. I make a motion to approve policy IKB, the homework policy.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? I have a question. We had a homework policy.
Yes.
Why did we change it?
So, can I, do you want me to take this?
Yes.
or- So, good question, because we did have one that, I mean, I was very proud of it. We also felt like it was way too much and a little just too complicated, and I think we went to
Marlboro.
Marlboro.
Yeah,
Right,
We went-
MASC doesn't have.
MAC doesn't have one.
MASC doesn't have one, so we looked at a bunch that we kind of liked. Marlboro, we thought was just, it was in the same spirit as our old one, but was not as, just, we felt like ours was very complicated. So we were really trying to simplify it. And this is another one that I think also just lends to confusion in the district overall. So I think it's important, the spirit behind what homework is, what it's for, why it is, how it's graded, I think is still pretty much reflected here. But of course, this is a first reading, and if you have recommendations or changes, of course, we can talk about them, although we are not going to be able to meet before the next meeting. Just will
Yes,
say that right now.
reasonable.
Yeah, fair.
We can push
Thank
this off to this following meeting if that's necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't see anything in it that particularly bothered me. I just noted we had one. I noted NMASC didn't have one. I noted
Yeah.
that a lot of school districts that we look to, like a Newton and others,
Yeah.
don't have one either. So I was like,
Somebody on the policy committee loves policies and insists on.
I do. It's me. I didn't realize it. I did not realize.
She didn't
that
realize
I was
it.
the Well, I knew I was a problem, but I didn't realize how much I love policy until recently. I will say, this one is pretty near to my heart. I did bring this, not to be like, I was here, and we did bring
No,
that policy because, and I was talking to Dr. Cummings about this today too, is homework shifts too. Like when we first brought this policy, it was a while ago, and we had done a bunch of homework studies in schools on like the school student advisory councils, and really it had been an issue. Now maybe the tide is, it changes all the time, right? Like people think what the rigor is and all of that.
right.
So I think it was a time to kind of re-examine it. And it really, when we were overlooking our old one, it just was so much that we thought maybe this was a little more
Condensed.
Thank you, Christy, condensed. But it still had the spirit of,
Right, and we also felt what we added to this one is that it needs to be distributed yearly by the superintendent. We found that the old homework policy years later had been misconstrued, people no longer reading the policy, and people then saying there's a no homework policy,
Yeah.
which we do not have a no homework
Right.
policy.
No, people definitely think that.
And,
Right.
and that we want to make sure that this is distributed on a yearly basis for staff, because not only among the students, but among staff, we've heard the same type of thing, that there's a no homework policy, or that we can't grade homework, we can't assign homework.
Yeah, which
And
that
we do
isn't
not feel that way as the school committee.
the old or new
Right.
policy. It's just matter to make homework meaningful, like math. That's the one we always go to, right? If you were doing one type of multiplication, just to make it very basic, like you don't need 3 hours of multiplication homework. You can, it should be brought home to test. Now, AP classes, that's a different breed, right? Like it's not, and we've been clear in, at least in our, I think our holiday policy, that we had an asterisk. I don't know if it's in the new one. I should double check. In our old one, it said students in AP may be required to complete different homework.
Yeah,
No,
we don't
because
have that anymore.
That
not
might
in
be something
here,
we
yeah.
should add, Christie.
We can look at that.
I mean, I think this is broad enough that maybe you don't need
Right,
it.
I don't,
Yeah.
Because I worried almost that it might be too broad. Like you said, like gonna have teachers assigning enormous amounts of busy work.
Right.
But you're never gonna get it,
No, I
where
mean-
it's, unless
Right.
it's prescriptive, like unless you do like, it's
because even like
20 minutes for each grade level, or
Right,
something
and we don't
silly.
want-
Like in our last policy, there was a schedule that went along
Yes.
with it. I mean, there was a lot of information that people tend to not to read beyond a page.
Yeah.
So,
If that.
Paragraph. And I think what I hope is, like, it really should be kind of a district-wide, like, hopefully people will buy into it. And if they're not buying into it, then we need to take it back and really talk it out more, because this should be kind of our philosophy as a district. Like, what is homework? Why is homework? And it's so tricky because you have parents who grew up, when I grew up, when homework meant that teacher was hard and that was a good teacher, and and then they're home saying my kid doesn't get a lot of homework, so that means they're not learning as much. Everybody brings their own experiences into it, but what we're seeing is also just like the overload of homework that isn't
Right.
necessarily helping learn, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, we're just looking more for meaningful homework.
Yeah.
meaningful homework.
I guess
So,
I worry that it doesn't say that.
all right.
It's-
I mean,
and
I
it's-
guess
that
that's
would
what
be new material.
that's what
Yeah,
I
it should
worried
be
about a
review,
little bit. It says Grafton Public Schools are committed to a rigorous educational program, which already worries me because some people will do exactly what you just said, Laura, which is go rigorous means
Rigorous.
every class has an hour of homework a night.
Right.
Okay. And then, thoughtfully designed I don't feel like we come out and say the homework will be meaningful or advanced learning. Like I still think there's possibility for tons of tons of
Right, just
multiplication
worksheets.
worksheets.
Yep.
I don't know. I may be overthinking it, but I guess that's what was missing to me, that meaningful piece.
Or like review from the day's presentation, or like whatever, the lesson that they learned that day. They bring it home and work on it to see if they've, still remember
Right.
what they
Well,
learned.
and every student and every grade and every, subject matter might have different needs. That's the other piece, right? Like,
Right.
might have one student that needs that review of the day's lessons, and might have another one that just like wants to make a podcast about what they learned in history, right? And that's meaningful to them. So that is part of the
I
problem,
would
right?
hesitate to
Or
use
choices.
meaningful in it, because meaningful means very different things.
Right. Yeah.
So, I feel like the beginning really states like that, believes that work beyond the school can support classroom lessons that may be necessary to complete and achieve. So I mean, it is vague, but it's gonna have to be a little vague because teachers are different, and it's not gonna be the same for every
And
grade. or
grade
even
levels
every
are
teacher in
extremely
Right.
every
different.
grade.
What a
Like,
first grade kid is going to get an AP English kid's going to get a totally different.
and but even in between, like, and I know people don't like this all the time, but even between classes, like some teach, but I feel like, but I mean, we're happy, we can
We're
certainly
happy to-
take it back and
Yeah.
revise, like, that's cool too. I'm trying to look at the other policy and just like, what was something that was really,
Maybe not.
like, we just had, it was like homework policy overview, like, I don't know.
No,
To
I
me,
hear you.
That is something that we should really be thinking about when we're talking about our strategic, like our planning and our
Right. And
face of the district, like, and that comes to me from leadership, not from a policy in the manual.
right, because at some point the teachers need their own discretion as to
Yeah.
how
Right.
the teachers have to
Yeah.
teach. Like,
Well, and I think, this piece, the teachers will ensure that students understand the purpose of the assignment and can complete the work. I mean, that's where the meaningful part,
Yeah.
right? Like, here's what we're working on, here's the skill or concept that we're trying to help you master. So,
And there's always going to be people that think it's not enough or too much, no matter what, right?
100%.
And I don't want to, what we used to have was the times. In first grade, you have 20, whatever,
Right,
10 minutes, I
right.
don't remember what they were.
I think it was 10 minutes per grade level
You
or
know,
something
something
silly.
like that, which is insane. But then obviously, if you're taking, honors AP level classes as you get older, you're going to have more homework.
I think maybe for the elementary school, like sometimes maybe it surprises parents, but they have like no homework or very little, is that when they come to their parent-teacher conferences and, and they see so-and-so is not understanding the multiplication tables and, they're not getting that extra review at home, which I'm sure some parents would, help them to figure that out. And it comes as a surprise, and now you're into like November, where it's like, oh, these past 2 months I could have been helping them. And now they're 2 months into the curriculum and maybe not understanding and have to backtrack that.
And no matter what our policy is,
So,
sometimes
yeah.
that's going to
I
happen.
guess my question is, so what's the question there? Like, elementary school teachers should be or could be giving homework out. This policy doesn't say don't give
Not to.
homework to elementary school kids.
I know most will just have reading homework for the elementary school.
Right. Which we have here, we talk about.
20 minutes of reading is usually what they,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
they suggest a
Right.
different,
And it depends on the grade too. In elementary school, sixth graders get much more homework than fourth graders
Right.
or third
Or
graders.
second
Like,
graders, right.
I agree.
I'm
And to
okay
me,
with
that
that.
is a communication from the teacher that maybe needs to be in their, whatever they send out to the classroom, like, we don't do homework, or this is my homework. I don't know if it should come from us to
No.
individual grade levels.
No,
And I do want to just respond just to thought. So that was another thing too, is not every student has that home support. And that is a big issue among, across grades. So, eventually they get to the place where you can't help them with their homework. But many, I mean. I
definitely
don't
not
know.
helping with honors physics, I can tell you that.
But, so especially in elementary school, there might not be that parent at home, and that's already a huge equitable issue. So, that's different philosophies and things too. But, I mean, again, if you think about it, just shoot us an email.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, we're happy
again,
to
we
take it
won't
back.
do it.
Yeah, we can bring
We're
this
not
back,
meeting
not
next
at this.
week.
Right.
not at the-
I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I think I just wanted to understand why we revisited it
Yeah.
when we had a new one.
I'm glad
I
to
get
have
it.
a thoughtful
Yeah.
discussion about it because it's super important, and I think a lot of
It
things
is.
came up, and maybe we can do a better job as a district communicating, or individual teachers
Right, yeah,
to
and
do a better job.
one of the reasons why we revisited it was we revisited any policy that hadn't been reviewed
Yeah.
through this whole audit within the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
This was one of the ones that got flagged, and what were we gonna do with it?
Yeah,
And
just that it's
the
completely
discussion.
new, I thought
Yeah,
was
yeah.
interesting. And I also
Yeah.
think it's interesting that MASC doesn't have one, right? So, and a lot of,
Yeah.
a number
Yeah.
of districts choose not to have one too. And I just was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
by some of the
Because
districts that don't have one.
So, different, right? I think there's so
Well-
many. Same why they don't have an AI one.
And why they don't have a
Right.
cell phone policy, why they don't have an
Yeah.
AI policy.
Wow.
MASC is kind
Yeah.
of behind on some of their
Okay.
policies,
Slow
I
it
feel.
Well, anyone have anything else?
But
I'm
I
gonna take a vote.
really appreciate and again,
Yeah.
first reading. So.
Yeah, first reading,
reading,
exactly.
so
So
let us know.
I
I
yeah,
made the
yeah.
motion.
And we seconded, so we're
Seconded
good. All in favor? All right, great. Next.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the first reading of policy JJE, student fundraising.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a discussion on the paragraph. Sorry, just pulling it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I expected it.
Should be on the tab.
It's on the tabs on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
JJE.
I put it in my good notes, sorry. The paragraph, towards the bottom where it says the fundraising activities may not involve competition among students. Students may not be rewarded with additional recess snacks, activities, any type of prizes that they've raised larger amounts of funds for reaching fundraising goals. Because most of the fundraising that's done is not like from the school directly, but like our organizations, our PTGs, PTOs that run these fundraisers and generate a lot of money that go back into the school in the form of enrichment. So, you know, families have participated in these throughout the years. I mean, it's just something that they do. We have, like the PTG I know that I'm involved with, you know, we work with a company that helps us organize the activities, because like from when my kids were really little, I think we did walkathons, and they were just something that was kind of loosely organized and maybe raised like thousands of dollars, now to upwards to, you know, 30, 50, 70,000, that goes back into the field trips, the on-site enrichment programs, with, you know, also raising money, you know, helping teachers with additional resources to help them buy things so they don't have to spend money out of pocket, staffing up even the break room for the beautiful North Street new break room. All this like money from the fundraising goes back directly into the school, especially with a challenging budget year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is like the one paragraph that really like I don't agree with, because of that we've been able to give our kids so much more opportunities than
So I think
Would you like me to speak on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this paragraph we went over probably 1,000 times and met with Dr. Cummings and spoke with Dr. Cummings, met with principals to discuss this paragraph particularly. This paragraph is not saying that we cannot have such activities as the fun run or something to that degree. What it is saying is that we don't want to have students feel feel down on themselves or feel inequitable in the classroom because their classroom didn't earn enough money against Mrs. Q's classroom. This is more putting students against each other. We don't want, that's not what Grafton is about. Grafton is about, you know, fundraising and helping, not making some students feel bad because they didn't, per se, earn enough to get that classroom recess. So if you take away those kind of prizes, and we're not saying we can't fundraise, we're just saying take away that kind of competition among students, especially students who can't afford this sort of thing.
Rebecca?
I was also thinking about it because obviously, like, so my experience is primarily elementary school at this point. So like, the fun run is the one that I think about the most, where kids, like, the more their money that they're, you know, contributing individually, like, whatever, they're getting more prizes. And I was thinking, like, is there a way to make it like the more money the school as a whole is
Right.
contributing, or
They
something
could do
like
something
that?
like that. This is
And
just,
then
we're not
they
pitting
can-
kids against
Exactly,
each
because
other. We don't
I
want
mean,
that.
right, 'cause the money is amazing, the enrichment activities are amazing, but I, like, in the pit of my stomach, I hate that, like, Tommy's grandparents are gonna, like,
Right.
you know,
But I
give
think that the
$200.
kids don't really know that, because I think, you know, from the.
They know
They know,
when they
the
get
kids
the
know.
prizes.
Well, we've like asked teachers to like distribute them like quietly and like put them right in your backpack, and so it's not like they're waving around, you know, I got this. It's like they quietly go put it in their backpacks. And,
But they know if my class got an extra recess.
Yeah.
Well, that piece.
I mean, they
yeah,
know that
there's
kind
like
of thing.
pizza
And if we
parties as
speak-
incentives.
Dr.
and stuff
Cummings,
like
can you
that.
speak on what the principals said on this?
Of course, I think any educator would not want students being pitted, you know, one against another. I think that was clear. Most of their feedback after that was just what it would do. When this was imposed, what, if it was immediately done, what would the impact be on all the efforts that the PTG and PTO have already put forward? That was their biggest, wasn't
Right.
the end, is how do we get to that end? in
So
time?
we did propose, knowing that like Fun Run has already started at NGES, that this would not go into effect until at
November
least
1st.
November, which would give South enough time
Yeah.
and then time to plan for next year on just how to maybe revamp it. And I was one who fought very hard, Stella, because I'm with you. I also came very hard from the PTO, PTG life. I never want us to come across that not appreciative or not understanding. I even said, I was like, I used to hate it when people, would criticize all the work we're doing to try to bring money that we're not getting from the district. So I really struggled. Christy, we went back and forth because I don't want to ever seem like we're not appreciative or at least me. I'm very appreciative. I'm grateful for everything that everybody does to try to enrich our students where we can't do that. And I also can see where maybe it's just and I came from when it was just the fun run, and it was like our third biggest fundraiser. Book fair used to be our second biggest fundraiser, right? And then, first of all, we couldn't get volunteers to help do it, so we moved to the outside company, and it blew it out of the water because of all the activities that come with it. And I also know that it has gotten bigger and bigger. It's taking time. So it may be just time to regroup and think about how to do it a little differently, where we can incentive in different ways. You
Right.
could do even by grade, I think.
Right,
you
we
could
just
do,
can't.
But I also saw as a parent, you always knew who the parents were that were going to just,
Throw the money in.
well, you saw it all the years. And some
Right.
kids don't care at all, and some kids care very much and know it and internalize. So this is also an MASC policy, so we
Right.
didn't just make this one up, and we were looking at it. But, I also don't want to, I'll be with Stella here, we're affecting people, and this is, again, a first reading, I'm open, I hear what Stella's saying very much. So I don't want to that's why we didn't want to just throw it at people and say, as of next week or whatever, we understand that things are in process. I'm not helping, I'm just, this
Right,
is,
no,
this
I
is
mean,
a tough
we-
one for me.
yeah.
I don't
We
like to
all
be the bad guy.
appreciate the PTO and the PTG and all the fundraising that takes place and all the money that comes back into our schools. But we heard back, even from, as Dr. Cummings said, from educators and such, the competitions among students is kind of not our Grafton way in that.
It's just not
It's
right, period.
right. It's not what we stand behind.
So I want to echo what everyone said. I in no way want to take a thing away from
No.
the parent volunteers who basically make a lot of things possible for our kids. That would not be happening. And the fun run is absolutely a big, big moneymaker. I don't think it's the tchotchke prizes. Let's get them. That's part of, I actually don't think we're saying not to have the fun run. This is
Right,
not
this
how
is
I
not what
read
it
it
is.
at all.
Not to say not to
What
do
I
it,
read
no.
it is, okay, so the company that helps us run the fun run gives us all these tchotchkes. Let's collect them and raffle them off to the kids for reading a book or for,
Right.
don't tie it to the money.
Right.
Give everybody a pizza
But the
party
way
at the
that they
end.
make their donations, it is tied to
Could it
the number
be-
of donations, the amount you get. So each dollar amount that you get a tier of prizes.
I know, but
Could
the
it-
school will get them either way, right?
It's how the school distributes them.
It's
Doesn't
how the
have to
school
be-
distributes them and
That-
how we
yeah,
talk about it.
It's in the
to kids.
contract that how each student will receive a prize, and you see it on your own leaderboard,
Right.
when you get a donation, it says
Right, it says now
you
you've
get
won
these
the
socks,
basketball
water
thing or
bottle,
whatever,
you
yeah.
keep achieving different prizes with the amount that you raise, then you kind of get up there in
It's
prizes.
just
I
so
wanna-
hard for a student who's doesn't come from the means to do it. Their parents, their grandparents, whatever, they're just not gonna make anything besides the, squishy ball.
Right, and there's a lot of kids that won't make anything. And then the other question is with the Fun Run company, this is a massive MASC policy. They must encounter other schools that have the same policy.
Right.
Yeah.
What do they do in that instance?
That's what I'm wondering, could there be a discussion with that company? Because I feel like they have to have other
Right.
options, right? Because the company seems to run it very well, but could there be and now we've raised this much money, so everyone in the school gets X, 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 all these prizes or something like that? Not that I know.
I know, but we've never
Yeah,
asked,
but we
right?
never asked, right? I feel like it's,
I mean, I understand, I'm hesitant
And
to
the nice thing
abandon
is
it.
we
Yep.
we get a series of prizes, distribute them, then the principals really are then they receive basically we give them all the prizes and then they'll distribute them for different you know, activities or different, like, not competitions, but, you know, giveaways.
Yeah,
and
like at
such.
the
Yeah.
bingo, exactly.
Yeah,
We've
the
gotten a bunch of
bingo.
stuff from the bingo.
I mean,
I
they get,
just,
they get recycled for like fun fair.
I feel like there's a way to make it,
Because I think
Work
you'll see a
with the
dip in
spirit of the-
donations because kids won't be as like, you know, they want to earn them. I mean, I know my own kids do too, and they'll make the extra call to like, you know, a grandparent. I mean, even the company will send emails. I mean, I registered my student, like my kid, and then it sent emails to everybody who had, you know, donated in the past and
Yeah. I know.
automatically
Yeah.
got donations
I get those
without even
emails.
doing anything.
yeah.
But then when they want to get to the next tier, you know, it's like, hey, call somebody and get some.
I know.
But there are kids like
Yeah.
foster students or other kids who don't have that to go to, and then they see those other kids getting it. I mean, it creates animosity among students towards each other and wanting and we appreciate everything that the Fun Run does and how much they give. It's just this competition among students. You know, Bobby earned $50 and I earned nothing.
But the kids really don't know, only when they
They-
like they see the prizes. So if there's a way to like give them the prizes without the other classmates knowing, I think maybe something to consider. It'd be probably a lot of work on the.
I mean, I don't know. Like
Well,
as kids
that-
get older, they know how much they got.
Well, and I don't know that we could write a policy that says
Right.
teachers hide the prizes from
right.
the other kids. I mean, I struggle. I wish we lived in a world where we just had a lot of
But I
money.
think we just can't like have each person achieve the same thing everywhere. Like there's you know even sports like you have a
This
winner.
isn't that
in the-
though.
But it is. You're trying to raise money for your schools. You can't just
It feels
expect
like
to
this
give.
this is an equity issue though among students, and that becomes an issue. And I believe that's probably why MASC put this in here, and that's why our principals feel that this is sort of necessary. While we wouldn't implement it today.
No, we
it's-
can't.
It's, I mean, it's,
Well,
We
and we
see
had
students.
some, I mean, I wanted to hold it for the year, and I got outvoted, but, because I'm worried about South too. Like, I understand what it's
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
This is
budget,
later
and
in
you
the
sign
year.
contracts
Yeah,
and things like
I
that.
think we,
you know,
I
we said
understand.
so after November, like the Fun Run in North would be done.
but when it's
Right.
so,
South is
Spring.
in May,
In the spring.
So
or
they've come-
June.
so
Yeah.
can't we just have this take effect, like,
Like, I want to, like, if we could give people enough time to think of other, you know, I mean, maybe it's time, like, we've retired, I've done, when I was there, we did many different things that are no longer there, and, new things have come in. We used to do a lot of, you know, like, maybe it might be, it sucks, but, you know, you have a year to think about it.
I understand, I really do.
I do too, it hurts me, like, I don't, you know,
I see both sides. I understand how much money it brings in and how we rely on it for many things that are important to our kids and our families. But I do also see the equity issue, and it is an equity issue.
I also feel like if this is an MASC policy, like, there have to be companies out there that are running it in a way
it
that,
has to be.
that adheres to this policy. Like, I feel like like, we don't have to come up with the middle ground. Someone else has probably already come up with a way that this could work for us.
Right, and I
without-
feel like
Yeah.
that company makes money from us. I mean, they will kind of probably do what,
Right.
Yeah.
right.
they
If
will design it the way that we want it designed to match our policy.
Right.
little
I
bit,
mean,
right.
they'll make more money if they don't have to send us plastic crap.
Right.
I
Because
don't,
also, like, we have to remember, like, today's the Fun Run, and you know, they make a lot of money and everything, but like, what if in 2 more years, there's another fundraising activity that gets added that has kids competing against each other? Like,
I mean, I know, I'm of two minds. I hate to take away anything from people who are volunteering in our schools to get things,
Yeah.
you know, for what our kids need. And they know a lot better than, you know, the MASC about what it takes to raise that $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. They just do. I
mean,
get
the
it.
court's to like 70,000.
Yep, but at the same time, we're trying to move to more equitable thinking about our students in every area.
What does that mean? Are we comfortable then? So then they'll get less, kids will get less. So what we could say is, I mean,
Right.
you could lower the budget and then you won't do as much, right? You won't get those extra enrichment, or you
Yeah,
won't be able to help
which
teachers
is,
as
who
much.
wants to say
Is
that?
that more helpful to students than not getting a prize? Like, I know we're going, like, it's also,
Mm-hmm. You're
I can
right.
hear people like, not, like, kind of what Stella was saying, not everybody gets a trophy, and, you know, there is some back and forth. So, I wonder, I can't,
I wish,
oh, here it is.
I wish we lived in a world where our kids didn't have to go out and hustle for money. That's what I wish we lived in.
Yes.
So,
Right. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get a compromise here, but, I love a compromise. I do think that, you know, as our job, sometimes it's looking at things a little bit bigger and taking the principals out of it a little bit, who are in a really hard position because they are really grateful and close with the parent groups, and it's difficult sometimes for us to have to be like, you know, we're always the villains in the movies and TV, but sometimes we have to do kind of the right thing versus the popular thing. Let's see, may not be rewarded.
I mean, can we just cut it off at activities? And not, you know, like the prizes are,
Like, I don't think I think to me it's not really the prize. I thought it was really the class to class thing.
like
Where
the
Initially,
recess,
when
the
I read
pizza
it, I was
party.
thinking that, you know, there's like a pajama day, you know, so-and-so, like, which. you
Like,
know,
I don't know why
I
you
mean,
can't do like the grade level or something to that. Like,
Or
I-
everybody.
They can, I mean, each
Right, or
thing
the
I
whole
think is
school
like
earns it.
specific.
Why don't we have a pizza party at the end of the fun run? On Fun Run Day, where everybody gets pizza for lunch, and then everybody got
Well, who's
something.
paying for that?
Well, that's what we have, Wits and Serve Pizza.
Oh. Sorry.
I don't
Friday? 'Cause that's
I mean, to kind
Betsy.
of wrap a bow around it, there's like a principal's challenge too. So
Right.
they, like each principal, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
I
on the
mean,
roof.
you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
but they have to,
work on a roof. Julie's been an ice
Get a
cream
pie in their
sundae, you
face,
know,
right.
But
they-
those to me, that's fine.
That's
Like,
fine,
that's
yes.
the
It's
whole.
not
But that's
the
where like
kids competing
everybody
against
gets
each
to,
other, right.
you know, no matter, it's not like, oh, you did not raise anything, you cannot, you know, throw a
Right, you don't
pie.
get to go and
It's
watch.
everybody does, you know, it's like a free.
I mean, is the compromise that, you know, we talk about the recess snacks, activities that are specific to a class or a group of kids, and get rid of that and
And in the past,
remove
like,
the language about the plastic tchotchkes? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, are the prizes that desirable that kids are like, I can't believe I didn't get the water bottle?
I mean, I think it's when you're working for it, it is
Right.
like,
It-
you
it
Yeah.
want that
That's all
next
they
thing,
have.
and then
Right,
it
but-
stays in your car for 10, you know.
I mean, it's,
So
it's
then,
like,
then
it's all
it
like
isn't
Five
equitable.
Below toys,
Right.
essentially, you
But
know.
I
But the thing
was
is like in the
hoping-
past, like one, I think one of them was like a compass. Each, you know, student got a compass, no matter if they registered or not. Because like sometimes you don't even get all the students registered.
Right.
But everyone earned like a compass. So like something like that is,
I guess what I was hoping you would say, you're right, the kids don't care about the water bottles and stuff, because my point was gonna be like, let's not prescribe against that if they're not a big deal. But if they are a big deal.
But they are a big.
I mean, I don't-
Like anything else.
To me, they're the
I mean,
biggest big deal.
That's like the biggest
Yeah.
big deal.
It
Yeah.
was not a big deal in my family, but I
Right.
can't make
I
a
can't
decision
for
for an
other
entire
people.
district
Right.
based on my experience, because that's insane.
Right. And then you have kids in a classroom who say like, my class isn't going to earn the recess because I didn't give enough
No,
money. Like,
so I
yeah,
definitely think we
Yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah.
have the recess, the class specific. But I was wondering so that we can continue to work with this company, if we could kind of remove the language about the prizes. And that's
I mean, look, I'd be happy to reach out to the fund. I don't want to
Right.
put work on anybody else. I'm
Right,
happy
we
to
can
reach
do it.
out
I was
and
like,
solve
what's
a
the
problem
company
and,
name?
and
Yeah.
ask some questions. I mean, I don't represent the
Right.
parent group or anything, but like we could do. I mean, I don't want to make this somebody else's problem that we're coming in for.
Right.
I'm happy to like
find out.
find solutions too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the
And
fun
maybe
run
they would be
people-
like, hey, we have an idea for that. We just don't know this right now.
Right.
You know, we're not in like a massive hurry to pass this, but we are in a thoughtful way, again, going back to homework, like we need to think about what we are as a district, I guess.
Yeah, what makes sense for a student?
I just think that like for like this year, I don't know, like hold it to like.
Not for this year.
No, I'm just saying
It
for
would be
this,
till
because it's like
November
you,
1st,
you kind of have that like money like affixed in like a budget.
Yeah.
And you're, you know, working towards those
We're
goals.
not
You know, I think of
stopping anything
South
of
where
this
they
year.
do theirs late May, June, where that money is probably, you know, going towards early next year
Yeah.
stuff.
I
So-
don't think anyone's suggesting we
Yeah,
stop
no.
those this year. What's in process for this year is in process for this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's, I think
that's
that
more
would
reasonable.
be like a, you know, a surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I don't think
I wouldn't
that would
do
be
that to
really fair.
anybody.
But I think giving a year
Yeah.
to try to, and look, again, then come back, like, you know, I mean, we can talk about it more, too.
Yeah, but I really do feel like this one does require more research outside of policy into like what else is available, what are some other options, and I'm also happy to look into that. I
Yeah,
know.
I think any of us would be.
Yeah.
So are
We can
we,
hold this.
want to hold it?
We'll hold.
Do you want to rescind your motion?
I rescind my
Okay.
motion. I'll hold.
Yeah, let's try to come back with some more insight into what can be done.
Okay,
That sounds
Great.
fine.
All right.
thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being, again, thoughtful and, yeah. Okay,
The next policy, I make a motion to approve policy KHA, public solicitation.
Second.
motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Can someone give me an example of
When this
when
is ever,
this would ever be appropriate? That's what, it's like limitations, I feel like it's just not appropriate. So I feel like I'm missing
Yeah,
some
the-
examples of when it would be appropriate.
Well, this was, again, we had a really long conversation about this. But it said like fundraising activities. So again, we were like, okay, so
Oh, I see.
book
Okay.
fair,
Right.
all of those
Right.
things. And originally it was like, needs the school
Yeah, we
committee's
changed that.
permission. And we were
But-
like, that's not what anybody needs.
No.
We want the principals to be aware of what's being sold in their schools or who's coming in. And that is probably how it should be working, where the groups are working with their principals and saying, and that's in all the schools, right? It's not just elementary schools, it's the high school, they sell donuts and they've sold
Oh, right.
mattresses. I mean, there's things that we have to do, unfortunately, because education is not properly funded. So that was just, but we want to make sure that people are aware, so they're not selling something inappropriate, or, you know, we're not having like a weapons sale, or you know, something ridiculous. Is that
Credit cards getting pitched to high
credit
school
cards, which
students,
we used
right?
to get in college,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think I still am paying that off.
I worked for that company.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, they got me, man. I bought like a wool sweater from Sweater Guy.
Nice. I got to distribute M&Ms, and then I just quit and ate all the M&Ms myself.
There you go.
Love that. So, like, and I was thinking, like, sports, like Gatorade coming in, and like, you know, so it's kind of a, just in general, like, we want them to, we don't want to exploit our kids where they're now like selling. I don't know.
Right.
And I think a
Right.
lot of schools have moved away from the sales in general, which is actually why we did the fun run, because people complained about their kids selling.
Yep.
So,
Right.
like,
You can't win.
you
You
can't
can't win.
win.
Yep.
Again, thank you, parent groups. So that was kind of what this is about. And we just wanted to make sure that it was clear that principals need to just
Approve, yeah.
approve.
Okay, I thought this was some outside company just coming in
Same.
to sell things to our kids to
Right.
raise money.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know the money was going to the schools.
Oh,
I
like-
see what, yeah, I see what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Now I
Oh,
understand
all
it
right,
better.
like a vacuum cleaner guy, like
This
a
makes-
door to door.
Or like, I'm here to, I don't know, fundraise for Amnesty International, and I'm selling these T-shirts.
Well,
And the fundraising isn't for us.
yeah,
And I was like, yeah, they just shouldn't be
They shouldn't
doing
do
that.
yeah.
Right.
But we've had that like weird things. So this is just kind of a broad policy. And this again is also an MASC, like Christie
Right.
didn't
Yep.
just,
Yeah.
although Christie could draft it, very,
Yeah.
but
All right.
No, this is MASC.
Any other comments or discussion? All right, I'll take a vote. All in favor? Great, motion passes. Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow, great.
yeah.
Nicely done. All right. Operating principles, subcommittee report. So our report is that we drafted a charter for our group. so that it's very clear to everybody what the subcommittee is supposed to do, what our responsibilities are, and when they end. So hopefully everyone had a chance to look at that. And I will take a motion to approve the Grafton Public Schools Operating Principles Subcommittee Charter.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions? All right, seeing none, I will take a vote. All in favor? Great.
Who's the subcommittee chair?
We did not.
We didn't have this yet, so
Oh.
we couldn't possibly.
Right,
Okay,
we
yeah.
just basically met to put our charter together.
It says at the first meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
At the first official meeting,
No.
once we have a charter, it should say,
I don't know.
implied.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I know.
We will advise
Yeah.
at the next meeting.
I'll let you know.
All right. Great. Correspondence, we did have one piece of correspondence, a property abutter asking us questions about the new scoreboard, which the superintendent ably and quickly answered. And I don't think there's any further action there. And we do not need executive session. So with that, I declare the meeting adjourned.